The bell on the coffee shop door rang with a weak, tired sound. It fit the man who walked in. He looked worn out. To the few people in the shop, he was just another tired person trying to get through the day. He wore old jeans, a faded gray t-shirt, and a thin jacket that didn't keep out the cold. His name was Elias Thorne. He was worth more than $3 billion, but on the inside, he felt completely broken. He walked slowly to the counter, looking down at the dirty floor. The air smelled of strong coffee and old sweets. "What can I get for you?" The voice was warm and kind. He looked up. The woman behind the counter was maybe in her 60s. Her name tag said Clara. Her hair was braided neatly. Her eyes were kind and looked like they had seen a lot of hard mornings. "Just coffee." "Black," Elias said, his voice rough. He pulled a crumpled $5 bill from his pocket. It was the last of his money. He was in the middle of a crazy challenge. Try to build a business from nothing in 90 days. He had only $100 to start with and an empty warehouse to sleep in. No one could know who he really was. He had been trying for 3 weeks, 3 weeks of failing, 3 weeks of feeling more alone than he had in years. The rich man had forgotten what it was like to be nobody. Clara took the money. Her hands looked like they had worked hard all her life, but her touch was soft. She gave him a gentle smile. "Rough morning, baby?" The kind word hit him hard. No one had spoken to him with such simple kindness in a long time. In his world, everyone wanted something. This was different. This was just one person being nice to another. "Something like that," he said, looking away. She nodded like she understood everything. She turned to make his coffee, but she didn't use a normal mug. She used a big paper cup. As she poured the coffee, her back was to him. He saw her shoulders move a little, like she was writing something. He didn't think much about it. He was too busy thinking about his own failures. She turned back and put the cup on the counter. She gave him his change. "There you go, sugar. You have a blessed day now, you hear?" Elias just nodded. He took the hot coffee and sat at a small table in the corner. He felt heavy and sad. He looked out the dirty window. This city was nothing like the shiny, rich places he knew. Here, life was harder. People had smaller dreams and bigger problems. He had chosen this place because he thought it would be a challenge. Now he felt like he was sinking. "What are you even doing?" he thought to himself. "You're a fake. You got lucky before. You have nothing to give these people. You can't even buy a good meal." He was so deep in his sad thoughts that he almost missed the writing on the cup. It was there, under the word BLK, written in blue pen. He looked closer. "Don't give up. Your second wind is always right behind the first." He stopped. All the noise of the coffee shop faded away. He just stared at the words. "Your second wind is always right behind the first." It was a simple sentence, but to him it felt like someone had thrown a rope to a drowning man. It wasn't a general "have a nice day." It was an answer. She had seen his sadness and answered it quietly. He looked up at Clara. She was busy helping a construction worker, smiling her calm smile. She was like a safe harbor in a storm. She had seen a stranger suffering and had quietly tried to help. For a man who was used to controlling big companies and moving millions of dollars, this small, quiet act of kindness was the most powerful thing he had ever seen. It broke through all his coldness and pride. This wasn't about business anymore. This was about people. His smart mind, usually full of complex plans, now had only one question. Why? Why would she do this? What kind of life makes a person able to see so deeply into a stranger's pain? His billionaire challenge suddenly seemed silly and small. The real goal wasn't to make $1 million. The real goal was to be more like Clara. The goal was to really see people. He didn't finish his coffee. He stood up and walked out. But he didn't go back to his cold warehouse. He went across the street and sat on a bus bench. He watched the door of the coffee shop. He had a new mission. It wasn't for a TV show. It was simpler and much more important. He needed to know her story. Elias came back the next day and the day after that. He always ordered black coffee. He always paid with his little bit of cash. And every time, Clara would smile her warm smile and give him a cup with a message on it. They were little bits of wisdom, written just for him. A stumble is not a fall. Keep walking. The sun doesn't ask for permission to rise. Neither should you. You are not your worst day. You are your best attempt. With each cup, Elias felt his negative feelings start to melt away. He started to talk to her a little. Busy today? Or, looks like rain. She always answered with the same warmth, calling him sugar or honey. He learned she had worked at the coffee shop for 15 years. He learned she was a grandma. He learned she worked early so she could have her afternoons free. He also started to watch her with other people. He saw that she knew everyone's name. He saw her give an extra muffin to a young mom who was counting her coins, saying it was from yesterday. He saw her listen patiently to an old man talk about his wife who had passed away. Elias began to understand. This little coffee shop wasn't just a business. It was the heart of the neighborhood. Clara wasn't just a worker. She was its protector. His own business idea, buying and selling scrap metal, was still not working, but it didn't feel so important anymore. He started to think of ways to help the people he met. He used his smart negotiating skills to help a young artist named Matteo get a good price on a space to work. He helped a woman named Sarah, a single mom with a food truck, make her menu simpler and cheaper. He wasn't doing it for his challenge. He was doing it because Clara had shown him how. He was finally paying attention to others. On a rainy Tuesday, about 6 weeks into his 90-day challenge, he went to the coffee shop. It was quieter than usual. Clara was there, but her bright smile was gone. She moved slowly, like she was carrying a heavy weight. Her eyes were red. "The usual, baby?" she asked. Her voice sounded flat. "Yes, please, Clara. Are you okay?" She tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, you know, just one of those days." She made his coffee. When she handed it to him, the message was different. The writing looked unsteady. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. Elias's heart felt tight. He took the cup. He didn't sit down. He watched her. Between customers, he saw her bow her head. Her shoulders shook with a quiet cry that she tried to hide. The billionaire knew all about making deals and taking chances. But this was different. This was about giving back. This was about love. He waited until her shift ended. He saw her take off her apron and walk out the back door. He followed from far away. She didn't get in a car. She walked with her head down in the rain for several blocks. Then she walked into the city hospital. He stopped. He stood in the rain and watched her go inside. Everything made sense now. The tiredness, the sadness, the message on the cup.
Elias didn't go into the hospital. That would be going too far. Instead, he went back to his cold warehouse. His mind wasn't thinking about business plans. It was thinking about what he could do. His scrap metal idea now seemed useless. The next day, he was at the coffee shop before it opened. He needed to talk to the owner, a rough man named Vic. When Vic unlocked the door, Elias was there. "We're not open yet," Vic said, but Elias walked in. "I need to talk to you about Clara." Vic looked defensive. "What about her? She's the best worker I have. If you're complaining—" "No," Elias said. "No complaint. I want to know what's wrong. She's hurting." Vic looked at him for a long time. Then he sighed. He pointed to a table for Elias to sit. "It's her grandson, Jamal," Vic said quietly. "Good kid, smart, got a scholarship for engineering. He's her whole world." Elias's stomach felt tight. What happened? "Leukemia," Vic said. The word hung in the air. "They found out a few months ago. He's in the hospital. The treatment is hard. The insurance doesn't cover enough, not for the best treatments. Clara works her shift here, then goes to the hospital all afternoon and evening. She's exhausted. The bills, they're too much. She's falling behind. She's trying to get more money on her home loan. She needs $50,000 just to keep going. It might as well be $1 million. $50,000. To Elias, that was a tiny amount. To Clara, it was a huge mountain. It was about her grandson's life. "Thank you," Elias said, standing up quickly. His mind was clear. His purpose was certain. The 90-day challenge was forgotten. He spent the day like a man on a mission, but not for himself. He called Mateo, the artist. He called Sarah, the food truck lady. He called every person he had met and helped over the last 2 months. He asked them all to meet him at the warehouse that night. When they came, a group of about 20 people stood in the big, cold space. They were confused. They knew Elias as the quiet man who was down on his luck but gave good advice. He stood in front of them. He didn't look like a failed businessman anymore. He looked like a leader. "You all know Clara from the coffee shop," people nodded. Their faces softened when they heard her name. "Her grandson Jamal is sick. He needs help. Clara would never ask for it, so I'm asking for her." He told them about the cancer, about the bills, about the loan. He saw understanding in their eyes. These were people who knew about struggling. They knew how easy it was to fall behind. "We're going to help her," Elias said. "We're going to get that money." "How?" Mateo asked. "A bake sale? That will take forever." "No," Elias said, his eyes bright. "We're going to use what we're good at." "You're going to make art," he said to Mateo. "You're going to cook," he said to Sarah. "You're going to build and fix things," he said to the others, "and I'm going to sell it all. We're going to have a big street party and fundraiser in 2 days. We'll call it Jamal's Journey. We'll have art, food, music. We'll ask local businesses to help. We'll tell everyone. We're showing Clara that this town she has cared for all these years cares for her too." For a moment, no one spoke. Then everyone started agreeing at once. They were determined. They didn't have much, but they would give what they could for Clara. The next 2 days were a whirlwind of activity. Elias used all his business skills for one goal: get $50,000 in 2 days. He got permissions quickly. He talked to people and got supplies, a stage, and music donated. Matteo and his friends made beautiful art to sell. Sarah and others cooked huge amounts of food. They put posters all over town. The local news station heard about it and came to report on it. The day of the event was sunny and clear. The street by the coffee shop was closed and turned into a party. Music played, people danced, the air smelled of good food. And money came in. People gave cash and wrote checks. A local business owner gave $5,000. Another gave the same. Matteo's paintings sold for hundreds of dollars each. Elias moved through the crowd not as a billionaire, but as a friend. His heart felt full of a pride he had never felt before. He saw the goodness in people that he had forgotten existed. Clara was at the hospital. Vic had told her she needed to come to the shop at 4 p.m. to sign some papers. It was a small lie they had all agreed to tell. At 4 p.m., as the fundraiser was at its best, Vic brought a confused Clara out the front door. She stopped. Her hand went to her mouth. The whole street was full of people she knew. Her customers, her neighbors, her friends. They were all there for her. She saw the banner, Jamal's Journey for Clara and Family. Tears filled her eyes as Elias walked to her. He was holding a big cardboard check. The amount on it made her gasp. It wasn't $50,000. It was $187,500. Everyone got quiet. Clara looked from the check to Elias's face. She was shocked and overwhelmed. "How?" she whispered, her voice shaking. "Why would you, all of you, do this?" Elias's eyes were also wet. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a stack of paper coffee cups. He had saved every one she had given him. He held them up so she could see the messages she had written. "You gave me my second wind, Clara," he said, his voice emotional so everyone could hear. "You gave it to me every day without even knowing my name. You saw I was lost and you gave me light. You taught me that the most valuable thing in the world isn't money. It's this." He pointed to the crowd, to the love coming from them. "It's kindness. It's community. It's seeing someone who is struggling and quietly reminding them that they matter." He took her hard-working hands in his. "This isn't a gift. This is us paying you back, with interest, for every rough morning you made better, for every person you warmed with your coffee and your heart. This is us seeing you. This is us reminding you that you matter." Clara could not stop her tears. They flowed down her face as she pulled Elias into a strong, heartfelt hug. The crowd cheered and clapped, many of them crying too. In that moment, the hidden truth was clear. Success isn't about how much money you have. It's about the connections you make. It's about the hope you give. It's about the love you share, even when you have little left for yourself. The undercover billionaire had failed his challenge. He hadn't made $1 million business, but he had helped build something much more valuable, a sign of the power of a simple cup of coffee and the amazing woman who served it with a message of hope each time. He had finally learned that the richest person is the one with a heart kind enough to give itself away.